What's going on, everybody? Today we are going to be painting up this 2.5 square bill from Barlow's Tackle. Now I've got something special, and that is something I've never ever used or tried before, and that would be some 3D stencils. Now I got these off of Amazon. I believe the original manufacturer is WLure. There is the information. I can leave it linked down in the description below. So a couple things I did see in the comments about these. One, potentially they might scratch the bait, like if we do our base colors and then clip these on there. And then I also saw a bunch, or not a bunch, but several reviews saying that they showed up damaged. So packaging, they were just in this bag, in this box, shipped just like that. There was no padding or nothing, so I could see how they might get broken. I got lucky. It appears that all of mine, none of mine got broken. And I'm very excited about this because they clip straight to the bait, just like that. How cool is that? The only thing I did notice, because I kind of test fitted them the other night, is you cannot do, let me find another side here. You can't do both pieces at the same time. So you'll have to you can only spray one side at a time, because that won't clip on there with the other one in place, which makes sense because it's just like a pressure fit clamp to it. But I figured I would give them a try. That way you guys all know whether or not it would be worth the money, because it was about 40 bucks, but you get several different designs. But I think that's pretty cool, because doing some stencils like this are hard to do, or hard to hold the piece of paper or like a flat stencil in place. So having it 3D where it fits to the bait is pretty cool. I did notice on a couple of them, they are slightly bent. So I'll see if that will kind of bend back in place there. So I don't know, maybe most of you guys have already purchased these and used them. Like I said, I have not, so I'm pretty excited to give them a whirl. Also, if there's other stencils like this or other things that you guys want to try but don't want to pull the trigger on, let me know. I kind of want my channel to be like a database of information, where if you see a 3D stencil or something like this that you're thinking about buying, but it's kind of hard to pull the trigger because 40 bucks for stencils that only fit one type of bait is kind of a lot to throw at it, especially if you're new to the game. So let me know, because I would like to get them and then do videos on them. That way you guys will know if it's worth it for you, or if that's something you're interested in. I think the pattern that we're going to try out today is either this guy or this guy, which are really close to the same kind of style here. I'm overthinking this one, which one I should do. I think we're gonna go for this one. And then the rest of these guys will be future videos. But please let me know if there are other stencils out there or other blanks. All the WLure has literally tons of these that fit all sorts of different types of blanks. And I've also seen some folks on the different Facebook groups that looks like they are making their own stencils, their own 3D stencils. They look really sharp. So I'm wanting to reach out to them and get a hold of some of their stencils as well. So there'll be a bunch of videos coming up soon with all these stencils that fit the 2.5, and then whatever other stencils I can get my hands on. I'll probably be doing some of them as shorts as well. I think today's pattern, I think we're going to kind of utilize the stencil to practice I gotta look it up. I can't remember what it was called. Red pumpkin, orange spotted sunfish. That was from Kane Street Concepts, I think is what it says. Orange spotted sunfish. Wanted me to do that on this swim bait right here, the much larger blank. Wanted to see an orange spotted sunfish on this blank. I have not practiced the colors yet today, so we're just going to kind of throw down whatever colors off the cuff, utilizing this stencil, and we'll kind of see where that gets us, and then we can do a custom stencil or something for that other bigger blank, and then have our colors dialed in a little bit better. So here's what an orange spotted sunfish looks like. Pretty cool looking fish, cool looking pattern. So I think what we'll do is start off with a base coat of white on this bait, and then we can start layering down our other colors. We're gonna hit this with the hairdryer, and then I'll see if there's any thin spots and do a second pass on those. I'm trying my best to break down what colors to do. These patterns, I see why you guys enjoy challenging me to them. I don't know what colors to do here to break it down. So it looks like we got a nice base of like I'm probably gonna use like an iridescent turquoise for that blue color. But then there's like a more dull color layered over top of it, and then the orange spots. And then down here, it's kind of like an orange, yellow, peach, sand, bunch of different colors going on there. I do know one thing, I need to add more yellows to my collection here, because most of the yellows I have are very, very vibrant. But I think what we're going to do is start off our base colors with going to be using a transparent peach, and I think we'll just go ahead and hit the belly and kind of carry it up the side a little bit, and then we'll layer another color over top of it. Alright, gonna hair dry that right quick, and then do another pass to kind of make it a little bit more saturated. Alright, we'll call that good there. So I think out of the two fish in our reference picture here, this one's definitely more pale and this one's more saturated. I'm a little more attracted to the more saturated, vibrant one. So I think that's the one we're going to go with. I would think if you were fishing really clear water, probably the less saturated one would be the one that I would throw. But we're gonna go with the really vibrant, pretty looking one for YouTube purposes. With that said, the next color we're going to be doing is going to be an iridescent turquoise. And I think I'm just going to go ahead and cover everything else on the bait that's still white, give that a nice layer or two in the turquoise. And then I'm going to try to kind of fade it over top of our peach. I don't want to have a solid line, so we'll try to do a nice fade right there. Next thing we're going to do is I have this netting that's kind of like a zigzaggy little pattern going on there. I'm going to do this to kind of help break up some of our blue and our peach color we did at the bottom. Kind of tone down that blue just a little bit. With the stencil in place, I think what we're going to do is take the sunrise yellow, which we've used in past videos, and it always ended up more orange than yellow in my opinion. So that's perfect for this bait since we're doing an orange spotted sunfish. We're going to take the yellow, and it's so hard to tell what's going on with a stencil like this one. Hard to tell like where you sprayed and stuff. So I think we're just going to aim for hitting where our peach was, and then we'll just kind of have it come up and fade into where the iridescent turquoise. And then I think I'm going to come back in with a little bit of a red on the top here, just because on the picture it's got the little bit darker red almost looking color up top there. So just trying to do some more base layers to help, you know, break up the pattern, make it look a little bit more realistic. But sunrise yellow, and we'll start here on the belly. And it's a very thin layer, so I'll probably do a couple passes. And then be careful whenever you're spraying something like this, especially when you can't tell where your paint is very well. I recommend hitting it with the hairdryer, because if it's too wet, it's going to bleed underneath of there and ruin that pattern. So I like to spray a little bit and then hair dry, spray a little. And now we're going to take a transparent deep red, and I'm going to spray that just kind of along the top up here, and it'll kind of have it fade down into where the eye socket is a little bit. I'm trying to leave most of that gill plate blue, so I don't want to go too crazy with it, because I think we'll be adding some other sort of stencil or something else will happen on the gill plate later. So I'm just going to try to keep it along the ridge, top ridge of the bait here, and then fade up there on the eye socket. Trying to kind of fade it a little bit into our blue. That way there's not just a harsh line. And I'm holding the airbrush a little bit further back when I do that. All right, I'm gonna hair dry this and we can take the stencil off. I have no idea what to expect here. Okay, not bad. I think we're on the right track. Not bad at all. All right, I think with that red, that deep red still loaded in the airbrush, I think we're gonna go ahead and kind of darken up the back of the bait just a little bit with it, kind of hide where those clamps were, because I think we'll be coming back in with a black to finish out the back. Definitely getting a little bit of a purple vibe going on, layering that red over top of the blue. And I also noticed on this side I carried it down a little bit further, that red, than I did on this side. So I think to fix that, because I like how the other side looks a little more, just going to kind of hold this in place, and we'll add a little bit more. There we go. Bringing that texture we're looking for down just a little. I think we are going to go ahead and do our stencil, because theoretically, if I don't like the way it looks, we should be able to pop it back on there and spray a new color, I would think. So we're going to go ahead and clip this in place. And then I think the color we're going to try, our picture, our reference photo, is pretty dark orange, it looks like. So I was going to do white and then spray an orange on top of it, but I think that would make it too vibrant. So I think we're just going to spray directly on top of our base colors there. And I'm going to go for an iridescent scarlet. And if that's too vibrant, we might come back in with a little bit more of our deep red over top of it. I don't know. We'll just have to see. So I'm going to get the iridescent scarlet loaded up in the airbrush, and we'll go ahead and spray our stencil here and see what we end up with. Alright, let's see what we got. Definitely a little bit too orange. So let's spray the other side to match, and then we'll come back in with a little bit of our deep red. And there, I guess, is what they're talking about as far as it will scratch your bait a little bit. So let's take a look at the bottom. Bottom looks okay, but that could be potentially a problem if that was the last color you were trying to do. I plan on layering a little bit of black over top, so it should hide that, but that is what the people were talking about. So it makes sense. Okay, I'm going to clean out the airbrush. I think we're going to load our deep red back into the airbrush, and we'll kind of darken it up. Darken our orange just a little bit, because that's a little more vibrant than how those look. These are pretty dark. So maybe if I had started off with the red, and these are also really spaced out, so I think on our bigger blank we'll do that. But today we're really just testing out these stencils, so it works out. It looks like it does clip back in place pretty much perfectly, so that's nice. I got that deep red loaded back up, and I'm just going to do a really light layer over top of our orange just to kind of dial back those colors a little bit. Let's see how that looks. Hey, we'll take it. And do the other side. Okay, now we're going to go in and add that little white ear, which we're going to do white first, and then we'll do black. I just took a little piece of paper, cut a little swoop out. I'm going to try to fit it kind of right in that little empty spot from the stencil. So we're going to go as far out as we can with the white. Alright, now I got some transparent black in the airbrush, and we're going to take our same stencil that we did, and we're going to put it right in place, and then we're going to scoot it forward just a little bit, and that should give us a white ring around the edge as long as I get it lined up perfectly here. There we go. Nice little ear. Okay, now I got to figure out, it's got this little line that kind of runs through there. That one's got some red. Ooh, sorry. That one's got like red lines. The top one's got black lines. There's also some little dots up on the gill plate there. I think I'm going to try to go a little bit of a black line, and then we'll come back in and add some dots with the orange. So I'm just going to try to freehand this. Hopefully I don't jack this up. Try to do a little more zigzaggy on this side. A little straighter on that side. Alright, let's darken up the back of the bait and hide those little scratches and dial back on that purple we got going. And I'm going to darken the eye socket just a little bit. Okay, last couple things we're going to do here, kind of testing for our future bait. I do like those little dots that are up there on the gill plate. This one doesn't really have that many, but I do like the dots up here on the gill plate. So I'm going to go in and add a couple of our iridescent orange or scarlet. Add a couple of those dots up on the gill plate, kind of break it up a little bit more. Which I think probably on our other one, I think we'll just be using the dot tool to make it look a little bit more realistic. And last thing we got to do here to finish off this bait is add some eyes. And we're going to go with some nice basic red black center eyes. That's a lot of glue, folks. Scoop a little bit of that off there. All right. And there we have it. One stencil used and kind of a practice for our other one. I don't think our colors are quite there for the orange spotted sunfish, or maybe just a wrong stencil. The main focus of today's video anyways was testing out these stencils, which I think they worked out great. They did scratch the top of the bait, so do take note of that. And then a good test run here to kind of get our colors dialed in for our bigger blank on the orange spotted sunfish. I do think on the other one, we're not going to do as big and bold of spots for it. And then I think I need to play with the base colors a little bit more. But this bait in particular and the stencil itself that we used, very happy with. I think it looks awesome. As I said at the beginning of the video, let me know if there's other 3D stencils or products that are out there on the market that you've never seen on my channel, or you're thinking about trying or would like to try. All the above, whatever you guys are interested in, let me know. I want my YouTube channel to be a very good resource for you to find stuff. With all that said, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to get some clear coat put on this one. We'll come back and take a look at what it looks like all finished up.